I predicted the Seattle Seahawks to go 11-5 last year. I pretty much nailed it. They went 12-4. The only game I missed was the San Francisco 49ers. I could not predict that the 49ers would have a bunch of injuries. I thought that the Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers would split their series, each win one game against each other. Instead, Seattle beat the 49ers in both games, so that's literally the one game I missed. It's kind of crazy. I was horribly wrong about the Cardinals, the Rams, the 49ers. I nailed Seattle. My prediction was right. Therefore, I'm actually not that interested in Seattle. I'm actually way more fascinated when I get stuff horribly wrong. I said before the year that Seattle relies too heavily on Russell Wilson, their starting quarterback, to rescue them from their problems. And kind of ended up being true. Now, they brought in a receiver from Philip Dorsett. They brought in Philip Dorsett from New England. I was curious if Philip Dorsett could have a breakout year and go from a guy who was infuriating to watch in New England to maybe having a great season playing with Russell Wilson. Unfortunately, Philip Dorsett did not play a single game. The poor guy hurt his foot in training camp. And by November, Philip Dorsett was getting surgery to remove bone spurs from his foot. I encourage you, look up a bone spur. It does not look like a comfortable thing. But credit Seattle. Seattle tried to get Russell Wilson some playmakers. Philip Dorsett did not work out. Josh Gordon did not work out. They brought in, speedy Josh Gordon. He had a setback in recovery. Seattle had to end up cutting him. So they also brought in Greg Olsen. They got a veteran tight end, Greg Olsen. And I got a lot of respect for Greg Olsen. He's awesome. Last year, Greg Olsen, however, was underwhelming. He had 24 catches for 239 yards, 1 touchdown, played in only 11 games, missed a couple games with an injury. So in the end, Greg Olsen retired. So Philip Dorsett, Josh Gordon, Greg Olsen, like the move Seattle made to try to support Russell Wilson just didn't work out. And that's not, it didn't work, unfortunately, right? Now, again, I love Greg Olsen. He's amazing. I cannot wait to hear the guy in the broadcast booth next year. Even the Jamal Adams trade, they traded for a star safety, and then Jamal Adams dealt with injuries all year. He'll be better next year, but even that, a surefire trade for a great player, even that didn't pan out for Seattle. So some of it was just, frankly, bad luck. Now, the one thing that did pan out very, very well for Seattle on offense was DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, Seattle's second-year receiver. Oh my gosh, this guy is a monster. He had 83 catches for 1,303 yards, 10 touchdowns. I love to see that. DK Metcalf is a receiver that is just at the beginning of his eventual domination over the NFL. He already does dominate in some games, so he keeps getting better and better, and he's going to keep getting better and better the more we watch him. Now, as I look back on Seattle's season, one of the things that kind of sticks out to me that's very weird still is I just did not love their 2020 first-round pick. Seattle's kind of known for having weird first-round draft picks. They drafted linebacker Jordan Brooks 27th overall. And he was hurt early on. So Jordan Brooks... Now, I will say, I'm not going to trash on Jordan Brooks. By the end of the year, he made some plays, was doing some good stuff. Like Jordan Brooks, very good football player. Solid, right? Looks like a first-round pick at the end of the year. But here's what's weird to me is that when the Seattle Seahawks went to a nickel package, meaning that you bring in an extra corner or defensive back onto the field to basically stop the pass. When they went into a nickel package, which is happening more and more in the NFL because teams are throwing more and more than ever before, in a nickel package, Jordan Brooks is on the sideline, not playing. Maybe part of that is because he's a rookie. They're trying to give him a light workload. I don't know. But it's kind of weird to draft a first-round pick and then not have the guy on the field all the time. It makes me wonder, despite Jordan Brooks being a very solid football player, could they not have drafted somebody 27th overall last year that could have contributed even more to their team? It's just a question. I'm asking because I looked at it and I still feel it's a bit of an odd pick. Like, even though Jordan Brooks can play, it's like, wow, could they not have done something better or maybe more interesting than Jordan Brooks? Just me asking a question here. You can answer it for yourself. For me, I'm like, man, you spent a first-round pick on a guy who's not on the field all the time. Now, I got a question on Patreon from Dax. Dax is a guy I went to college with. old college buddy of mine. Dax, hope you're doing very, very well. I know he's a Seahawks fan. He's from Washington. We both went to Washington State. He says, Dax says, it seems like no one can stop talking about Russell Wilson. What boggles my mind is why anyone thinks Russ is going anywhere. If he's traded, it's $40 million in dead cap, and none of the teams Russ said he would go to have tons of assets to get equal value back for him. So why is this topic inhaling so much airtime nationwide when it's so unlikely to happen? Why is a Russell Wilson potential trade everywhere in the media? Well, number one, not gonna lie, it's because there's not much going on. People that have a daily show where they got to talk for like 3 hours a day, every single day, it's unnecessary. There's too much sports content out there. Like, people make content about sports too often where their content is filler nonsense. They got to fill airtime. And they're like, well, Russell Wilson will get us clicks. We need clickbait. Russell Wilson's great. They do it. And I made literally one topic about Russell Wilson. And I'm like, okay, we got to entertain the idea. Like, let's have a topic. But then I walked away. I was like, I said my piece, and I think it's stupid. They shouldn't trade him. It'd be a dumb thing. But after you make one topic about it, it's like, well, let's see if it actually happens. Because unless it happens, it's a stupid rumor. So I'm not that interested in a Russell Wilson trade conversation because it's not realistic. I hate fake trades. It's like, I like theorizing, coming up with stuff, but this is just nonsense at this point. And I don't buy it's going to happen. I don't know why you would trade Russell Wilson. But here's my second thing to say. It is a big deal. I mean, it's ridiculous the way the media talks about Russell Wilson, this trade, acting like it's an inevitability. It's going to happen any day. And again, part of it's because they need to fill time. But it is a big deal because Russell Wilson does seem genuinely frustrated with Seattle. And that's a news story, right? When your starting quarterback is frustrated with your franchise, that's bad. And then, of course, Seattle released a bunch of stuff to their season ticket holders and didn't include Russell Wilson. It's like, what's happening here? Like, there's something there. And I think the something really is just that Russell Wilson's a bit disgruntled and needs to be wooed a little bit by Seattle. And I think Russell, by the way, has every right to be frustrated. You ever watch a Seahawks game? Running around, and I saw people blame Russell Wilson that, he runs around too much. No, he runs because he has to. Because the offensive line's been bad for years. Please get Russell Wilson an offensive line. If he couldn't run around the way, would he be injured? He'd be Andrew Luck. He'd be out of the league. And the reason why it's a big deal is Russell Wilson getting traded would be shocking. It'd be a massive deal. It'd be like, oh my, can you believe it? A future Hall of Fame quarterback actually got traded. Because if Russell Wilson trade did happen, it's one of those rare trades where you get that once every couple. It doesn't happen very often, right? And if in the same offseason Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson both get traded, it probably just be a sign that the NFL's changed forever. Like, because we've never seen that talented of a player who's done as good a stuff as Russell Wilson has done, who, by the way, Russell Wilson's been quiet and well-spoken and completely mature for years. Like, he's earned the right to speak up a little bit. If that guy gets traded, it's a shock. And so part of why people are talking about it, of course, they're trying to fill time, but part of it really is because that trade does not happen. You never see a future Hall of Fame quarterback traded. And it would be insane if that trade did, in fact, happen.